Yeah, I'm really happy to have you on the show today, Darren. I was telling Aaron Gessner, who you and I both know, that last year I got an email from my web service provider that I recently changed my password, and I did nothing of the sort. So I called the company up, and sure enough, someone tried breaking into or hacking into our site. So I think everyone believes that having your website hacked or your private information stolen will happen to somebody else, but that's not the case, is it?
No, I mean it's pretty common. I think specifically 3 out of every 4 websites out there will eventually be hacked, and it's basically a cybersecurity war.
Yeah. It was terrifying, Darren, when it happened, because I'm connected all day, so of course we found out about it right away. But I said, my God, what if I was away on vacation, or God only knows what would have happened when I came back, to the website. So your service is so important. Maybe we could start off with what is Keeper and how does it work, Darren?
All right. Well, Keeper is a password manager and digital vault. So just imagine having your own private, secure, ubiquitous vault for storing all of the passwords and information that's sacred to you. So everything from login credentials to all of your websites, secret codes, credit card information, bank information, routing numbers, images of your driver's license, passport, secret documents, secret photos, files, videos, everything that you want completely encrypted and private is kept in this very simple and straightforward vault that syncs and works with all of your devices. So it works on smartphones, tablets, computers, and also integrates with your web browser. So you never really have to remember any passwords ever again. It's very easy to use.
Which is fantastic, Darren, because, if you think about it, we have enough things to remember during the course of the day, right? So instead of, writing these things on, little Post-it notes or, it really frees up your brain, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's essentially like a gigantic second brain. And the beauty of the product is that it makes security and convenience one beautiful thing. So it's really a unifying type of product from that perspective. And traditionally, when you hear about these security products out there, most people think, oh, this is going to be more difficult to use. It's a pain in the butt. I don't want to have to even think about it. And with Keeper, we've really tried to work on just simplicity and security in one platform.
It was a great entrepreneurial story, too. When I was reading about, your biography, Darren, and your business partner, you were talking about this thing. Was it on the way to China or coming back from China? Is that how the whole idea?
Yeah, it was on the way to China. We had a lot of flight time back in late 2008, and we were in a different business. We were in the hardware business at that time, and the iPhone had come out, and we were, checking it out. We were like, wow, there's really no, app out there to protect users on their smartphones. And so we decided to create Keeper, and the rest is history.
That's fantastic. So you launched a business solution for Keeper in 2013 called Keeper for Groups. Can you tell us how businesses utilize it, Darren?
Yeah, so we have, thousands of businesses that use Keeper for Groups to basically protect and secure their passwords and private files, photos, and videos. Most often it's used for password management inside a company. So, for example, if we looked at a franchise, like Chipotle. Chipotle is one of our customers. Their IT department uses Keeper to basically secure and protect, their most sensitive and private information in the company, such as passwords or secret files or whatever you have that you need to protect from hackers. And it's a beautiful application in that if I was sharing it, let's say you and I are in a project team together and you say, Darren, I need the Federal Express record. Can you share that login credential with me? I just go into my Keeper Vault, I click share, and it'll share the FedEx record with you. And when you go into your vault, the FedEx record is there. And all of the login activity, the website, the way it launches, the way you log in, is really one button click. And it's extremely secure because everything happens within the Keeper Vault.
Right. That's fantastic. Many of the business breaches over the past few years, Darren, they've been due to weak employee passwords. What are some tips for helping businesses create stronger passwords for employees and protecting those passwords?
Well, I think the key is use a password manager not just pitching Keeper, but straight up just use a password manager, because what a password manager will do is generate high-strength random passwords for you. And typically a high-strength password is anything over 8 characters. It includes letters, numbers, and symbols. And it's something that, a hacker would have an extremely difficult time figuring out.
Right.
And the beauty of the password manager is that you don't have to remember that password. It does it for you. It auto-fills that login, for you. So when you go to like Amazon or any website, it'll automatically fill in your username and that high-strength password and log you into that site. So you never have to remember a password again.
That's fantastic. Usernames as well, right, Darren? I mean, I was trouble with usernames.
Yeah.
Trying to remember them as well is just just as difficult as the password sometimes.
Yeah. So, for example, if you look at just how I use it, I have over 300 Keeper records in my vault, and I have 4 Amazon accounts, right? One for my wife, one for me, one for my company. So when I go to autofill my login credentials into Amazon, Keeper will give me the list of different usernames, because with each username is a separate password.
Right.
So it handles multiple usernames or accounts for websites with great ease and efficiency.
That's fantastic. I heard you mention in some of your interviews zero-knowledge architecture, Darren. Could you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so Keeper is designed and created on a zero-knowledge security platform, and what that means is that we never have access to or knowledge of the master password that you use or the encryption key that is used to encrypt and decrypt your information. So all of the encryption and decryption of your password as well as your records stored in the vault always occurs locally on your device, and we always make sure that that resides with the user so that they're in full control of their records. So that's, that makes us a zero-knowledge platform.
That's fantastic. So the majority of our listeners, Darren, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. Many of them want to get into buying a franchise. What sort of credentials, certifications should franchisees look for when seeking a third-party cybersecurity provider?
I think number one is, make sure that the provider is SOC certified, and that stands for Statement of Controls.
Okay.
So a SOC 2 certification is really one of the highest certifications you can have, which basically says that the security provider, safeguards confidentiality, privacy, and security safeguards for their users, and that's really important. And our company is SOC certified by virtue of Keeper. We've had 2 SOC audits to date, and we undergo extreme, high security protocols, audits, vulnerability testing, and what have you. But I would look for that. I would look for certifications like TrustE for the payment security platform. McAfee is great, but there's several security protocols that you should look out for. And if anyone wants a general background, they can just go to keepersecurity.com/security and read about the different certs that we have.
Oh, that's fantastic. Maybe we could talk a little bit about when are anti-fraud services necessary, Darren?
I think they're always necessary. Any application that receives payments or goods or services, any type of value that's created or driven on a website or even locally at a franchise, if it's a brick-and-mortar location or if it's a website, the treatment of fraud protection needs to be pervasive and consistent. So I think it's absolutely critical.
Many businesses, they have a bring-your-own-device policy at work, Darren. Do you have any tips about how to keep employees' sensitive work information safe on their personal smart devices?
Yeah, the Keeper for Groups product, as well as some of the other products out there, address BYOD, and that's one of the reasons why we created Keeper for Groups is because it's just commonplace. All of us as consumers typically own a smartphone, and all of us as consumers work somewhere, right? We're all typically employed either for ourselves or for a company, and we pose a threat and a concern for companies' IT administrators, right? They're trying to figure out how to provision and protect and control devices that they don't own, and that's the biggest challenge is, how do you handle a BYOD device? I don't own the device. I know the employee has their own device, and I know that they're using it for work. So how do I, secure and safeguard that device. And that's why, companies have really embraced our product, is because we make that process inexpensive and very easy to use, and of course, it's hyper secure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've heard you mention on interviews as well, Darren, you've used the term the Internet of Things, and how will it affect the business landscape over the next few years in terms of cybersecurity?
Yeah, I think that the Internet of Things poses the largest single threat that we've probably seen in the last decade with respect to cybersecurity, just through the proliferation of devices and how many connected objects and devices there will be over the next 5 years. It's going to be in the tens of billions in terms of the devices that are in circulation. And if the proper security, protocols and protections are in place on those devices, then each one of those devices is in essence like a doorway for a hacker.
Right.
And so the greater number of doorways, the more potential entry points for a hacker to permeate a network. And that's really the biggest problem that I see in terms of risk.
That's something. So you're launching a new identity verification platform, Darren. It's called Keeper DNA. How does that work with the Internet of Things?
Yeah, so Keeper DNA is we're really excited about it. It's coming out pretty soon, and the way that it works is that we felt that the devices that you own essentially define who you are as a person. I know that sounds crazy, but if you think about it, if I've got, for example, a smart thermostat, a smart TV, a smart watch, and I authenticate against those devices or with those devices on a daily basis, then I can use those devices, per se, to create a Keeper DNA profile of me. So when I step into my house,